Hello, and welcome to where I work. It's like you can't even tell because there's a bunch of houses, but I work at kind of like a rec center thing for a community, and it's crazy. It's different from anything that I've ever done before. It's got a beautiful mountain view, safe community. I can just kind of walk around and be alone. Nobody really knows me, which, pros and cons to that. Pros and cons. It can be nice to feel like a stranger because you know that like nobody's judging you or looking at you weird or anything like that. But it is also just not having friends or not having people really to talk to. But lately I don't mind that as much. When I first moved here to Colorado, I was working retail. I had transferred to the store, like their brand, their version in Colorado, when I got here. But I was not fulfilled at all. I'm not good at selling things to people. I'm really not. I'm quite bad at it actually. Because I'm like a really strong believer of free will. Like, if you don't want to buy something, why would I make you? In this economy, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm too autistic. I was so unfulfilled at that other job. And my manager was just like a bitchy millennial who I didn't get along with at all. Because it's like, I would just be like, oh my God, here's me being a normal person and talking about my normal life. And they would just be like, oh my God, like adulting, right? And I'm just like, dude, stop. No, please don't. It's so frustrating to talk about those things in like an infantilizing way. Ugh, I just hate, oh my God, like I just can't do this. I just can't work. It's so annoying. Oh my God, I just like, what am I literally doing? I need an adult, whatever. Like, I don't know. I find that to be quite irritating because I was put into child labor when I was like 10, 11, 12. So it's like, babe, come on, you're selling t-shirts. Enough. Act like a normal person. And it was just so like fake. I can't stand that fake, like that toxic positivity, kindness, like, oh my God, I can't, like, it bothers me so badly. And it's like, by pretending to be nice, or just like making every environment be this like soft, cozy, like millennial vibe type of thing, it just leaves no room for authenticity, and it leaves no room for complaints either, really, because it's like, what's is a complaint real when you're like, oh my God, like this is so tiring, I'm just like, I hate adulting, versus like, I feel like I'm being discriminated against for my neurodivergency or something like that, and they're just like, oh my God, adulting, right? And it's like, we have to have differences here and there. So when it became unbearable, I left. I quit, even though I had really felt like I had no business doing that because we live in this economy and like I don't have money like at all. I'm very poor, especially living out here in Colorado where Colorado, I read this article or saw this thing recently where it was like Colorado's now like I think the third most expensive state to live in. It's like, cool. So it's like, I guess it's between this and like what, California? I don't know what the other one would be. What's more expensive than California? Oh, New York, yeah. As I've said before, I'm not a very materialistic person. I'm just not, like I can live with a little. I can live with little as long as what I have is quality, and as long as I have the room and the time to, like, let's say like I'm not making enough money to like, buy food from restaurants or whatever, like then I need to have enough time and energy in my schedule to be able to like cook meals and have like, and it can't be like such a drag that every time I do it I'm like dreading it or I'm having a horrible time every time that I'm doing it. Like cooking is a fun thing to do and I enjoy cooking, but when you're so tired from your full-time job where you don't even make enough to like be comfortable. It just, all of it just feels like a burden, and all of it just feels like labor. So yeah, I quit, and I found this listing for a office assistant position at a rec center, like a big rec center for this whole city. It's like they were originally owned by, like, the facilities I work at were originally owned by the YMCA. So it's like that kind of vibe. I mean, there's like 2 pools, it's 2 clubhouses, gyms, grass, parks, everything. And I have so much freedom here. I'm not being forced to sell anything, and it doesn't accentuate my inauthenticity as an autistic person. I can just be me, and I'm not expected to be, masking or have like a big, there's a little bit of masking, like, of course, it's customer service in a way, but it's like, I'm not expected to be this like happy, fun, extroverted millennial, like, oh my God, buy my shirt and then we can go see Harry Potter or whatever. Like, it's not that. I can just exist. I can say, things that are on my mind without worrying that people are going to like write down what I'm saying and like, try to bust me doing something wrong. That was happening at my last job. Fucking crazy. It's crazy because it's like, it was retail, bro. It's like, we're selling clothes, and but before I moved to Colorado, I had been working at their store in Dallas for 2.5 years. That's a long time. That's a long time to be working at a store in the same position. So it's like, I had the experience. I knew that I was good at my job, but I was like the more quiet, organizational type, like better at handling like the dealing with the actual product and all of that. And then most of the people around me were usually really good at the sales, so it worked really well. But my manager at my old manager at this Colorado location, like, just for even though like they were definitely more extroverted than me, well, I don't know about that actually. Honestly, the more that I think about it, it's like they were like more fake extroverted than me. Like they were better at masking. They were better at doing the typical like sales spiel, and they didn't worry about like bothering the customer. Like they didn't worry about if they were annoying the customer by talking too much. And me and my overly perceptive ass was very worried about that. Like I would notice when I started talking, I would just be like, they don't give a fuck about what I'm saying. and it was something that I would watch, like my manager would be like trying to give this spiel about the clothing brand and whatever. And these people are like slowly taking steps away. Like this is, so, he'd be like, we do this and like we sell this and we're about this. And they'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, right. Like just slowly taking steps back to try to leave. But without the proper social cues, like they just didn't give a fuck. They just kept going, and I don't have that. I'm far too perceptive to be like that and not notice that I'm being annoying. So despite the fact that they were better at that, they had less of a tolerance for the actual sales, like for actually being on the sales floor and doing it. So even though they were better at it, they didn't like it, and I didn't either, and they had more authority than I did. So they were able to push me to be the one that was always doing that, and being, and being out of my comfort zone, doing something that I was just genuinely not good at. And then when they're like, so why are you not good at this? And I'm like, I'm autistic. Like I could do anything else, and I can even do this if you would just like switch it up. Like if I could just like one day here, one day there, let me be in the back 3 days a week, and then the other 2-3 days I can be on the sales floor. But even that was asking too much, and it got to a point where they were watching my every move, watching me on the cameras when they were not even like at work, trying to bust me doing my job badly. Like, it was crazy. All this over clothes, over retail, over a fucking wage slave job. And it's like, babe, like, I get it. You're mad because you went to college and you got a fucking master's degree in classics, in classic literature, and now you work as a manager of a clothing store. Like, I get it, okay? But also, I don't get it, because I didn't go to college, and I didn't go try to get my master's in classic literature, because why would I do that? Because why would I do, like, literally, why would I do that? Why would I, like, what are you going to do with that degree? What are you going to do with that degree? Nothing besides when someone else says something about classic literature, you're like, like, that's it, that's all you're gonna do. You're not even a teacher, so what's the point? Oh my god, like, crazy. So yeah, they didn't like me, and you know, I don't like change. I don't love change. Like, I can handle change, but I don't love it if I don't have to. And I was comfortable at that job. I was like, before dealing with that manager, I was comfortable at that job. I felt like I did a good job. I was like, you know, I make a decent enough amount of money to be like, you know, to be comfortable with this, right? And like, I really didn't have a choice. So I started to feel differently about myself. Like, when I was there, I started to feel like I started to believe the things that my manager was saying, that I was bad at my job, and that I was lazy, and, like, you know, that I don't have work ethic, or just whatever it is that they would say to me. And, you know, like I said, I was raised to do child labor, like, starting at like 10, 11 years old. And so it's like, to me, when someone says you don't have work ethic, or you're lazy, or anything regarding working, it's difficult for me to, like, I'm kind of like, what are you talking about? Because I've been doing this for a long time. But when you have only one person who's really in charge of you, and they already have like a belief about you, they have a vendetta towards you, and you don't have, like, you just don't have another frame of reference. Like, I was not like I'm working somewhere else for people to be like, no. And I had also, you know, I moved away from my hometown and my home state. I'm away from my family, old coworkers, friends, and all of that, to have people remind me, you know, that, like, no, like, you are good at this. It's, you know, your manager doesn't like you. And it's so hard, because it's like, when you're one of those people who doesn't want to be who doesn't want to be a victim, and who doesn't want to, like I you know, you don't want to project negativity, and or like, place excess amounts of negativity onto people where it, like, they just don't deserve it, or feel like they don't deserve it. So with that, it's like, it's hard to really say confidently and comfortably, oh, like, this person is treating me this way because they're jealous, or this person is treating me this way because they don't like me, because they have a vendetta against me. Like, it's not about my work ethic. It's not about this or something specifically that I am or am not doing. It is that this person does not like me. That's really what it is that it's just that this person does not like me. And it's hard to believe that, you know, not like it's hard to believe that someone wouldn't like me, like, hey, you know, but it's hard to believe that someone would go out of their way so hard to, like, make your life harder and put more pressure, make your job more difficult. Yeah, so that just was a major damper on my self-esteem. So then I took a chance. I decided that I would believe myself. It took a long time, like months and months and months of going back and forth over whether or not I should actually leave the job. It was full time. I was getting paid more than I am now, a lot more. But I was just like, I was so unhappy. Like, I was so nervous. Like, I was constantly, like, feeling like I was on the verge of getting fired. And like, you know, like what that does to your to your cortisol and your nervous system and all of that, like it's horrible. So to me, it was like, I have no choice. If I want to be like healthy, like if I want to be able to do anything, and especially because at the time, like that was really when I was starting to think more and more about wanting to pursue like YouTube and wanting to do more of this and do more of my creative work. But how can you do that when all of your energy is expended on this job that doesn't require that much energy, but you have to put that much energy to make sure that you don't even slip up this much. If you slip up once, like it could be, that slip up could be the reason that you get fired. And it literally, like the slip up could be, you're supposed to greet everyone within 2 minutes and you forgot to greet one person because there were 500 people coming in the store and you just didn't get to them. Like it can be something as simple as that and you're gone. And that's how my manager was treating me, my ex-manager. But I overcame. I got over it. I got over the insecurity and I decided, you know what? Like I'm gonna believe myself. So I left and I signed up for this frickin' part-time office assistant job. Because why not? I thought it sounded fun. It was like at a rec center. Never really done anything like that before. I do part-time marathon photography. So it's like I'm used to being outdoors, like working outdoors, and I'm used to working in environments that are like sporty, outdoorsy, like have stuff to do with that. Like there was a time when the photography company I was working for had the contract to work with like Lifetime, like the gym, and was doing the Lifetime bike races, running races, like those kinds of things. And so this kind of just, this felt right up my alley. And I took a chance. I've never really done an office assistant job before. Like it really is like it's fate sometimes that takes you in certain directions. Are you guys gonna get mad if I put my glasses on? I keep squinting and I feel weird. I get nervous because I'm like, I don't want to get the crow's feet. I don't mean to sound like a 26-year-old that's being like, oh my god, I need to get filler, because it's not that. It's just, if you can save your eyeballs and if you can not squint, you shouldn't, because it's bad for you. Like not even just bad for your skin, it's bad for your eyes. So if you didn't know. Anyway, so I went to interview for this job and I met the manager and I was like, oh my god, finally a woman. The last 3 managers that I had at the clothing store were guys. So it was just like, finally, a woman. Holy shit. And it just, it turned out she's only 3 years older than me. And we're really similar. And we're both Aquariuses. And I was just like, boom. It's done. It's locked in. And I knew from the interview, even though she was like, oh, I still have to interview some more people. I'll get back to you. I knew. I was like, it's locked in. It's locked in. I already know I got it. It was just like, I felt immediately from what she told me that I would be such a good fit. I'm just here like on a Friday. It's a beautiful day and I get to just hang out at this park. And there's not a lot of people here, which I love, because this is like technically for this specific community. Like these parks are for this community. But read it and weep, baby. Yeah, I got one. So it don't even matter. Even though I am quite poor and, I have to really like be super vigilant about the money I spend and like prioritize, bills. I definitely have a decent amount of credit card debt, but the new job that I have and this new life that I'm currently living, it's just so... It's abundant in its own way, where it may not be the, heavier cash flow. It may not be materially abundant, but spiritually it is. And I can't say that I recommend like what I'm doing to everybody, because I don't expect that everyone is going to be as willing to give up like so many material just like things that we're used to, you know, like, yeah, like I've canceled every subscription. I've canceled every, like, I don't spend any money on any type of like clothes or anything like really fun. I get groceries. I get my skincare stuff when I need it. I get, you know, hair care stuff when I need it. I only buy, I literally only buy those things, and weed, because I smoke weed. And I mean, like, especially if you live in a big city and you're used to the big city privileges that you get, you know, it's like when you're in a big city, there are so many more things that you get benefits of, like, you know, there being more food and more food options, and like more places to get gas, and, you know, more options for, you know, finding places to rent and whatever. I think I just really had to get away from everyone and everything that made me doubt myself, you know? There's a lot of life to be lived. You just have the confidence to do it, you know? I am lonely sometimes. I feel like that is the last part of this whole journey and transition. I was really lonely when I first got here, and as time has progressed, as life has moved forward, I'm not nearly as lonely as I used to be. But of course I'm still lonely. Like, I don't really talk to a lot of people, and I crave community. I crave friends, like all of that. I want friends. I want people around me. I want a life. In a place like this, you see the houses behind me. You see the mountains behind the houses. I feel like it looks like a green screen. I feel like I'm looking at a green screen. That doesn't look real. But no, it's real. It's here. I'm here out in the air. There's not a lot of people that I fit in with. But that's okay, you know? Like, friends don't have to always be someone that you fit in with. Sometimes it's just someone that, you know, someone that you like, someone that is fun to talk to, someone that you just enjoy being around. You don't always have to be similar to everyone that you like, right? What's the fun in only being around, you know, people who fit a certain type of criteria? You know, at this point, I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to wait for the right people, because, like, it's not worth the lonely, or it's not worth, like, being, like, less lonely to be around people who aren't good for you or good to you. It's worth it to connect with yourself so much and be so vigilant about who you allow into your space. If you can spend, like, a significant amount of time alone and learn to be comfortable in your own presence, it starts to be significantly easier to say no to people who aren't right. People who want you to lower certain types of boundaries or whatever. And when you're not comfortable with yourself, you're a lot more willing to cross your own boundaries or forget your own boundaries, because the companionship is a bigger priority, right? People like that, they will just cross boundaries, and like, they'll test it in the beginning and see what more they can cross, like, as time goes on. That's all that they're gonna do. Like, it's not to say that they're always going to be like a horrible person and whatever, but it's not always about that. You just need to be around people who are willing to wait, do what it takes to win your trust, you know, to feel safe around them and all of that. Like, if they really care and if they really want you in their lives, they're gonna do that, and they're not gonna cross any boundaries, and they're going to listen to what you say and be like, no, like, I can wait. I can, you know, I'm going to do these things because I care about this person and I respect them and I want them to know. They're doing construction on the pool. One of the pools both of the pools are fucked up, but one of the pools is really fucked up. Anyway, when you are fully comfortable with yourself, you can say no goodbye, you know, respectfully, no thank you. Like, simply based on the fact that your energy is going to be uplifted by yourself. When you maintain boundaries, and when you like are strict with people and you don't allow people to, like, I don't want to be like your vibration is lifted, but in a sense it kind of is. Like, you start to attract, you know, more abundance. You attract more because you're not just taking the first thing that, you know, comes to you. You're being like, no, like, I will wait for what is right. And then inevitably you will attract what is right. Inevitably. I know that because I took a chance when I left that job. I took a chance. I wasn't sure, but I was confident in myself. And I left a situation that was toxic, even though I could have stayed. I could have continued to fight. I could have tried to be on my best behavior and whatever, but instead I chose to trust myself and decide that my boundaries mattered more. My sense of self mattered more. And that compromising those things for a wage slave job is crazy. I guess that's it. I guess that's all I have to say.